Hello and welcome back to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel, where of course we're giving you all the latest news, views and opinions on all things Albion. We are back again today with another match reaction video here on the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. Here to talk Chesterfield 3, West Bromwich Albion 3. A disappointing performance from Albion, but we're getting more into the game. We're giving you all the details of the match. We'll be talking through Albion's starting 11, the sort of changes that we had, and I'll be giving my thoughts on each Albion player of the day. But yeah, before we crack on, make sure you drop your comments down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the game. Make sure you subscribe if you're new as well for more content like this. But yeah, let's get into this match reaction. Chesterfield 3, West Bromwich Albion 3. You're watching the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. For match previews, match day vlogs, match reactions and more, make sure to subscribe to the Baggies Podcast YouTube channel. So, 3-3 draw away at Chesterfield. Not a good performance. Can I firstly set that down in the start of the video, but I'd also like to set down how well I thought that Chesterfield played today. I thought that they were so competitive and also very effective in terms of their pressing, their energy. On the ball, I thought they were very sharp. I thought their passing game was brilliant. I spoke to Paul Fisher from BBC Radio Sheffield in the preview video for the game, and he sort of hinted that might be the case, that Chesterfield were going to come out and play nice football, you know, not necessarily what you'd expect from a non-league side in an FA Cup tie, but that's exactly what they brought. So I just wanted to, first, we will touch on Chesterfield, of course, throughout the video, but I wanted to get that out there before we sort of get into the main events of the match and talk through the Albion lineup. But Chesterfield, I thought were absolutely brilliant today, and I thought that they deserved to win, actually. I thought that they should have gone through during the normal time, really, and we shouldn't have really had the chance to take it to a replay with the chances that Chesterfield perhaps had. So yeah, Chesterfield thought were brilliant, first of all, and let's move into some sort of the match events, how the game went. So Albion opened the scoring with a goal from Brandon Thomas Asante. Carlan Grant tricked his way down the left-hand side, played the ball square sort of into the box, and Thomas Asante with a brilliantly smashed in finish from very, very close range, really. I was very lucky not to go over the bar, but it was a brilliant finish in the end from Thomas Asante. Tyrone Williams then equalised for Chesterfield just 5 minutes later from a short corner. The ball was just floated back across the box on the opposite side of the box and into Tyrone Williams, who tapped home. 10 minutes later, Carlan Grant scored with an assist from Adam Reach. He went through on goal. I think the goalkeeper possibly could have done better with that particular effort, but Grant managed to side-foot it past the goalkeeper after racing in on goal from quite a long distance out, to be fair. He ended up running for quite a bit of the Chesterfield half to get to the goal, but yeah, he was in on goal, side-footed the ball past the goalkeeper, got a little touch on it, but wasn't quite enough to keep it out. Then Armando Dobra scored twice in 5 minutes to give Chesterfield a 3-2 lead. And yeah, I thought that Dobra was actually very good in this game. Of course, scored the first goal, which was a really nice finish, picking up on a bit of space in the box, and in similar sort of vein to Asante's goal, sort of smashed it into the net. The second one I thought was a really nice lifted finish. David Button parried the ball out and came out to try and sort of clear it, and Dobra sort of lifted it over him with a bit of power on it as well. So that made it 3-2, and then of course heading into the last couple of minutes of extra time, added time, sorry, Brandon Thomas Asante's header directed into the sort of top corner of Chesterfield's goal meant that Albion drew the game 3-3 and took it to a replay, which we're not sure when that will be just yet, but we'll find out soon enough. So let's talk through the Albion lineup, give my thoughts on each player. I thought overall it was a poor performance, and I think Corberan was let down a lot by some of the squad players in the game, and I thought that they really haven't made a case for themselves at all. David Button in goal thought was really shaky, really shaky, and I think it's quite difficult to believe that Bruce kind of persisted with Button, and I'm not here to sort of bash the players, but I think that the way that Palmer has come in, I think has shown us really what you should expect from a goalkeeper at a championship level, and I don't think Button is that today. I thought he pushed the ball into Dobra for one of the goals, when it seemed obvious that he was the only player in the penalty area, and still he managed to push it into his path. So yeah, I thought Button had a particularly poor game. Passing out from the back was pretty poor. On the ball, there were a couple of times where he was too slow, bit clunky in sort of his distribution. So disappointing from Button, in my opinion. The back four, Zach Ashworth, of course, brought in for an FA Cup game. Of course, made his senior debut in the FA Cup third round last year, but brought in today for his first appearance under Carlos Corberan. Subbed off at half time. I thought that was a little harsh. I didn't think he did anything wrong, but I think a change was needed. And I think as the least experienced player on the side, I think Corberan just sort of went for him. But I don't think Ashworth did anything particularly wrong. Playing a bit wider than we're used to seeing the fullback playing in Corberan's system. Maybe that kind of hints on Corberan not really having enough time to coach those kind of roles. But Ashworth, I thought, was all right, and I don't think did particularly anything wrong, to be honest. Martin Kelly, I thought was again quite shaky. I thought there was a couple of times where he stepped out with the ball from the back and looked very good, but ultimately, like the back four as a whole, I think looked really shaky. I think the continuity with the back four could have been used a bit more, with maybe just the one change in there, because you've done so well with the back four that you've played. Obviously, there's the risk of injury, but you'd rather maybe you'd rather have a bit of continuity in that back four, and I think Kelly probably hasn't done himself any favours, having not featured under Corberan prior to the game today. And Shemi Ajayi, again shaky, but struggled, I think, with the offside trap. Was playing Joe Quigley on side for one of Dobra's goals, when it looked for all the world that Quigley would be offside if Ajayi had stepped up with everybody else. I think another bit of a shaky performance. Taylor Gardner-Hickman, I thought I don't think did too well at right back. I don't think that's his position. I think he is a centre midfielder, and I think that's where I'd play him. But did get the assist for Thomas Asante's goal, I believe. So you can kind of count that down as a contribution. But I thought that right back isn't his position, and I wouldn't be playing him there in future, to be honest. I think I can see him as in that midfield role. Dean Garner moving into that kind of midfield area. Dean Garner, I thought was bullied, I think, a little bit by Chesterfield. I thought Clements, Bailey Clements, who's playing left back, I think had the measure of him for large parts of the game. He was playing on the right wing, Dean Garner, Grant on the left. And I thought that he looked very sheepish. I think it'd be great to see him take the chance from Corberan against a non-league side, the opportunity. But credit to Chesterfield, who kind of turned it into that kind of game where it was difficult for players to get that space in. But Dean Garner, I thought had a difficult game, to be honest. And same with Jake Livermore, who made some real errors on the ball. I thought defensively, as always, he looked pretty sound, but in terms of on the ball, I thought there were some times where he lacked a bit of composure, or lacked quality on the ball, which I say isn't something we're not used to with Livermore. We're kind of used to seeing that with him, that he doesn't quite have the quality on the ball. So that's completely fair, and I think we're kind of used to seeing that. But ultimately, looking pretty poor in that midfield. Rogic, I thought there were chances for him to show his quality, and did with a couple of passes, neat moves out wide, but again struggled. Same with Reach. I thought that obviously Reach got the assist for Grant's goal, and again I think the squad players did I think the game really seemed to move in Albion's favour as soon as these better players were brought off the bench. And I think you do worry when these injuries happen. Thomas Asante probably shouldn't have been on the field for his goal. Seemed to throw an elbow at a Chesterfield defender just before he scored. So perhaps there's the argument there that he shouldn't have been on the field. If there was VAR involved, probably wouldn't have been. But 2 goals from him today, and 2 very well taken goals, I must say. He looks a real handful. But as I said, probably shouldn't have been on the field today. And Grant, goal and assist. Can't be much happier with that in terms of an attacking contribution, but still looking a little bit anonymous at times. And I don't remember a time he touched the ball between his goal and assist and the rest of the game, to be honest. But coming off the bench, Malumbi, O'Shea, DK Wallace, Yakushlu, that kind of helped to set back the game. And I'm sure that's not something that Corberan will have wanted to do, but he had to. I thought he probably should have done some of these changes earlier, but I thought DK, of course, had a couple of chances, well saved by Fitzsimmons in goal. So I thought he was a little unfortunate not to score, but was a real handful. I thought O'Shea came on and did well as well. But I thought that really helped Albion in terms of keeping themselves with a foothold in the game. I think before that, Albion looked almost dead certain to be going another couple of goals in behind. Of course, the XG for the game 2.08 for Chesterfield and 1.33 for Albion. I thought Chesterfield had some chances in the game, and yeah, I thought, as I said, I think they probably were the better side for the large part of things, and possibly could have deserved the win. So yeah, I thought another poor performance from Albion. I think the squad players have let Corberan down. I think he's learnt a lot about them, and that's probably what he has learnt, is that they are squad players for a reason. And yeah, maybe changing the team up so much, and especially in terms of the defence and the goalkeeper. You know, I thought for all the world he might bring Palmer on in that second half, to be honest. But yeah, poor performance really from Albion. Very lucky to take it through to a replay. If it wasn't for two very quality moments from Thomas Asante, you know, we certainly wouldn't be looking even remotely at that. But I thought Dobra was excellent for the opposition. Thought he played very well. I thought Mandeville as well, right wing as well, was very good. Thought they'd caused the real main threats for Albion throughout the game. But ultimately, yeah, poor performance, and we'll head back to the Hawthorns. Not sure when that is. I think they're normally the next week, sort of after the third round. So we might be seeing that in midweek perhaps. But I thought ultimately not the best performance from Albion, and very fortunate to get away with a replay. To be honest, I think maybe some fans would have rather had a defeat than a replay. But ultimately that wasn't the. Ultimately they went through it. They got through it, and they scored the goal at the end. But yeah, a really poor performance. I thought. Yeah, the inverted wing backs was weird because we didn't do that, which was a shame. But yeah, that's my thoughts on West Brom and Chesterfield. Chesterfield 3, West Bromwich Albion 3. We'll head back to the Hawthorns for a replay, and hopefully we learn our lesson from this game, because I thought we were very fortunate to get it to that replay stage. But thanks so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, comment your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.